And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hello everyone, welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. And taking a look across the state, we are going to continue to see periods of rain and snow along the Gulf Coast and up into the Panhandle as we go through this week into the upcoming weekend. There's been another batch of snow move across the Kenai Peninsula Anchorage Bowl, and it's working its way up through the west side of the Alaska Range as well as the Susitna Valley, producing some moderate to locally heavy snow. West side of Anchorage getting as much as 6 inches of snow with this latest system. And farther north along the Arctic coast, brisk east-northeast winds will cause some areas of blowing snow up that way, especially Wednesday morning and into the day Thursday. But for those of you that want to know a little more of the astronomy of things coming up, we have the spring equinox. We're at that point in the Earth's orbit around the sun that the apparent position of the sun will be passing over the equator. And Thursday, March 20th at 1:01 a.m., that occurs Alaska Daylight Time. We continue to add over 5.5 minutes of daylight each day as we head toward the summer solstice in June. So there's some cold air that's settled in across northern areas of the state and along the west coast. Shishmaref, as of mid-morning this Tuesday, 26 below zero, clear skies though. St. Paul, cloudy and cold. Temperatures there in St. Paul, it dipped into the upper teens earlier, 21 as of late morning with cloudy skies. Talkeetna picking up some light snow there this morning, 22 degrees. And we continue to see an area of snow working its way up along the west side of the western portion of the Alaska Range and into the interior. Haines, as of late this Tuesday morning, overcast, 28 degrees, and more snow will be breaking out there tonight and into the day on Wednesday. Starting first here to the north, there is a winter weather advisory for blowing snow that includes New Exit, Prudhoe Bay, Kaktovik, Demarcation Bay, and that'll be from 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning until late Wednesday night. And we do anticipate gusty east-northeast winds causing blowing snow up there, maybe even reducing visibilities locally down to around or a bit below a half mile. Now, winter weather advisory will expire at 1 o'clock this Tuesday afternoon for the Yakutat area. That snow has already happened. More importantly, winter storm watch for the Haines area, especially the Haines Highway west of Haines up toward Chilkat. That area there is going to pick up some moderate to heavy snow tonight into Wednesday afternoon. Snowfall amounts of 4 to 7 inches are possible west of Haines, especially up toward Chilkat. Haines itself may only see an inch or two of snowfall, but there's going to be another batch of snow move up into areas of the Panhandle tonight and for tomorrow morning associated with low pressure that sits out here in the Gulf. And coming up on Thursday, the vernal equinox, the spring equinox for the Northern Hemisphere at 1:01 a.m. Alaska Daylight Time. Well, on the satellite imagery, as we look at the moisture being pulled northward again, there's general low pressure, just a circulation where we have there's another low out here in the western Aleutians, a front extending eastward, and then we have other impulses of low pressure coming out of the North Pacific and kind of rotating back to the north and west. So this is where most of the action is going to be the rest of this week into the upcoming weekend. It's just going to stay cold across areas of the north, though. It's going to try to form a little weak low out over the lower Chukchi Sea as we get into the end of the week. But looking at things late this Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, weak low near Kodiak Island washes out with this trough still extending north along the Alaska Range. Here's the next low. This is the low that's going to fling the moisture up into the northern Panhandle. That's why winter storm watch is in effect there for moderate to heavy snow, especially along the Haines Highway for later tonight and on Wednesday morning. Back to the west, another low taking a track along and just north of the Aleutians with an occluded front ahead of that. By Wednesday evening, the low sitting out over the Gulf, this front lifting northward, keeping rain along coastal areas, but snow as you get up, not You don't have to go up too high. The air is generally cold enough. Even some areas may see some snow mixed in at the coast. And we still have a continuation of snow around Prince William Sound, the eastern Kenai up in the mountains, and still some lingering areas of snow, especially along the Alaska Range, and that push of moisture going all the way north of the Yukon River to the south slopes of the Brooks Range by Wednesday afternoon, as kind of a double barrel low in front works its way east-southeast, where that energy will shift eastward into the North Pacific and south of the Gulf here on Thursday. Here's another front that's just going to fling more moisture back to the north along the Panhandle and along areas of the Gulf Coast. We have kind of a stationary front, a dividing line between some pretty chilly air out west of there. It's cold either side, but we've seen temperatures cool down along the west coast, which was fully expected for this mid-month period and a little beyond. So by Friday, we have weak low pressure in the southwestern Gulf, a trough extending out east of that, pushing up toward the southern Panhandle and north of Haida Gwaii. Here's the remnant trough of the initial front that came north couple days earlier, and then this trough lags out here just west of the Alaska Range through the western interior and back up to the Chukchi Sea. And then we have that low pressure and frontal system working its way southeastward. But overall, there are not really going to be any major storm systems, but nor are we going to see moderating or warmer temperatures anytime soon. I think at best, maybe by early April, we could get some ridging push eastward out of the Bering and the Aleutians that could try to moderate things. But in the meantime, cold temperatures here across the far north. We've seen some readings down near 30 below, like around Arctic Village and Anatuvik Pass, and we're going to see lows again in the teens and 20s below tonight, and even single-digit lows below zero down all along the Yukon River, even into areas of the Kuskokwim, middle and upper Kuskokwim Basin, and then back here across south central, not quite as cold, but any partly cloudy skies are clearing. Will quickly get temperatures down below freezing and in the teens. As for the Panhandle, with cloud cover and winds, could be some gusty winds along the outer Panhandle, Sitka down to along and off of Prince of Wales Island, but that'll help keep temperatures around or a bit above freezing. And then on Wednesday afternoon, still sub-zero north slope and along the Arctic coast. Maybe getting readings back up into the mid-upper 30s, Anchorage Bowl all the way up to Talkeetna. And then here across southern parts of the Panhandle with that frontal boundary lifting, or the trough lifting a little northward, you could get highs back up in the lower 40s. Still below freezing out there in the Pribilovs at St. Paul. And then on Thursday morning, again, we're going to see those low temperatures below zero, maybe not quite as sharply cold as they were here to start the week, but definitely Chukchi Sea coastline down through the Bering Strait. We could see temperatures around 12 below at Savunga for Thursday morning, and 16 at St. Paul, readings below freezing along the Aleutian chain, and then temperatures Thursday afternoon should try to moderate a bit into south central. We could see some readings approaching 40, Talkeetna near Anchorage, certainly a little warmer as you get south there around Homer 43, and also some readings in the mid 40s for the southern Panhandle as we get into Thursday, because the pattern is shifting out only ever so bit slightly. We have, with the push of systems coming up from the North Pacific into the Gulf, that is going to allow little milder air to creep back to the north and east. Meanwhile, that tends to cool down the eastern Bering and the west side of the state. And the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook for March 23rd through the 27th. That's a few days past the equinox. Again, the west side of the state will be coolest, especially down along the YK Deltas, Nunavik Island, St. Lawrence. And then temperatures may average a little above normal over the eastern mainland, especially through areas of the Panhandle. And then precipitation-wise, precipitation could average a little above normal here across areas of the western Brooks Range, western North Slope along the Chukchi Sea coast, as well as in through the southeast throughout the Panhandle. And then a little drier than normal in areas up around Bristol Bay, extending down the Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Aleutians.